Shavua Tov. This week's Parsha, Parshat Vayechi, is named after the first word. Vayichi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim shvayis shana. It's noteworthy that the Torah uses the word Vayechi here, because generally when the Torah describes someone living somewhere, it uses the word Vayeshev, like Parshat Vayechi, Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz Meguriyav be'eretz Canaan. The pasuk right before this, in the end of Parshat Vayigash, Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim. It's also strange that the Torah uses the word Vayechi here because the Parsha is one about death. It begins with the death of Yaakov and ends with the death of Yosef. Why would we call the Parsha Vayechi? And it's not coincidental that this Parsha of death begins with and is named after life, because the other Parsha in the Torah named after life is the same way. Parshat Chaye Sarah, which begins with the death of Sarah and ends with the death of Avraham. In fact, to go even further, the whole phrase in the pasuk seems superfluous, because we know that Yaakov was 130 years old when he came down to Mitzrayim, as he told Paro, and the continuation of the pasuk tells us that he's 147 when he dies. So why do we need to be told that he was there for 17 years? This kasha is asked by the Orach Chaim, quoting the Medrash. The Medrash answers, if the Torah emphasizes Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim shva esrei shana, it must mean that these were the most important years of his life, the best years of his life, or in other words, the only years of his life when he actually lived. Maybe the usage of the phrase Vayechi in reference to Yaakov is part of what inspired Chazal to say that Yaakov Avinu lo mes. Technically, the continuation of the Parsha, when it describes the end of his life, it says Vayesof raglav el amitav vayigva vayasef el amav. It doesn't use the word maves there. But maybe the usage of the word Vayechi is also part of the reason for this drasha. So why is it that these years were the best ones in his life? Why is it that Yaakov, as opposed to Avram, as opposed to Yitzchak, lo mes? Well, the Gemara in Tanis, Daf Hey Amud Beis, where it says Yaakov Avinu lo mes, explains that Yaakov is like his children. Just like his children survived him, so he remained alive. And obviously the question is, Avram, Yitzchak, and most people have children who survive them. The Rashba explains, Avram had Yishmael and Yitzchak had Esav, who did not follow the path that they led for their children. Yaakov Avinu had all of his children following in his path. We see here from the end of Sefer Bereshit what life is really about, what we leave behind us in the world at the end of our days. Klal Yisrael begins with Yaakov's children because all of them are following the path. And now that Yaakov, at the end of his life, maybe in Mitzrayim, but still with all of his children following his path, he's finally alive. And the Jewish people launch at this point to eternal life. Let's think about this and the investments we make in different things in our lives and work on ensuring that we are having a continuity beyond us of children who live on the values that we stand for.